Welcome to the Money Watch Show. It's Tuesday, August 20th, and Mark and I are on vacation. But that doesn't matter to you. We're still putting shows out. Mark, by the way, you know all these other shows, they go to a lighter drop schedule during the summer. They often will say, we're going to do a best of. We don't do that. That's not how sometimes we do a best of on a weekend of a long weekend. Are we going to do that for Labor Day or not?
No, I don't think we did that. I think we have these 2 weeks. I think it's all fresh, believe it or not.
Unbelievable. What dedication that we have.
Or Mark, stupidity.
Definitely stupidity. By the way, I have talked to the powers that be, and, we're looking at our other show, our podcast, which is called Jill on Money, is a daily podcast. We are talking about pulling that back to 5 days a week. How dare we? From 7. 7 seemed, as soon as we start to have this conversation, that's when the entire economic world will roll over. I'm sure that at the moment we say, we're going to go to 5 days, that's when we're going to really need 7 days once again. We reserve the right to be obsessive and put more stuff out on the feed than you even care to listen to. So stay tuned. This podcast is, however, twice a week. And Mark, the guy you just heard talking, is Mark Talercio. Hey, Mark, I meant to tell you that someone in Jackie's office gave us some tomatoes from her garden in the Bronx.
Yeah.
And also something called a lemon cucumber. Do you know about this?
I do not. No. Explain.
It looked a little bit like a medium-sized tomato shape. Had a green outside, and it was a cucumber. So it was a round cucumber. It was very odd. I can't say that it was much different taste-wise. It had tons of seeds, which I'm not a fan of. But I threw it in a salad last night. It was great. And I'm sorry that I'm not coming to visit you in August because I did want to get some produce. Although you could bring it tomorrow if you wish.
That's a good idea. I will bring you a few tomatoes, but otherwise, a few is all that's left. It's kind of wrapping up. It's pretty much done now. I think within 10 days, everything's going to be done.
Wow. And then you can start thinking about what comes next.
I'm getting very sad. I mean, since early May, this has kind of been my daily routine, going out there, talking to my plants and, my therapy. And
what's going to happen is you're going to have to go to real therapy because you're going to lose your meditate. Maybe you'll start meditating. Remember when I was into Headspace for 5 minutes?
Amanda does that now. Not Headspace, but she does meditation every day.
How's that working?
So far, so good. She goes outside. She's been using the outdoor space for this. She goes out there every evening and sits out there and does her little meditation.
Oh boy, I'm not buying it. All right, if you have a meditation habit that you would like to share with us, go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button. If you also have a financial question, you can air it at that same website. If you'd like to join us on the air live, just click that button. Mark will do everything else. And while you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. Comes out every Friday. It's such a great resource. Today, we are on the line with Tom, who listens to us from New England, even though he is in an undisclosed location right now where he is enjoying a work boondoggle. Hello, Tom.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
We are doing well. So tell us, what brings you to our airwaves?
Well, thanks for having me on. So I'm 48, and my father died young at 57. His father died at 58, and my father-in-law died at 53. So I am healthy, but I am very concerned, or I should say aware that the longevity in my family, in men, is rather short.
Now, wait a second. I want to I have to interrupt here. Did they die from something that is a hereditary thing, or are you just making yourself crazy for no reason?
Good question. Both my father and grandfather were various ailments, cancer, heart disease, that sort of stuff. That some of that can be, hereditary, I guess.
Yeah, but you're in good shape because you're completely freaked out by it, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I figured. And of course, your father-in-law it has nothing to do with you except for bad luck, right?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we've got that down. Did you like that, Mark? See how I was doing my little therapy session right there? Just want to make sure, want to highlight this. But I get it. So you're worried because anything can happen at any time. Although, as I always like to say, whatever I'm worried about, I'm sure the way I make myself feel better is I say, well, I'm sure the probability of whatever I'm worried about is lower than me getting hit by a bus crossing the street in New York City. So it's probably not going to go down the way you think, but I get that you're nervous. So tell us what is going on. Does this future make you so nervous that you say, I want to retire as quickly as I can, or I've got to amass enough money because I don't want to leave my family with nothing? Like what's the trigger here?
Well, I think we're doing pretty good savings wise, insurance coverage wise, but my goal is to have enough to retire at 59 and a half if I can, if I want to.
Yep.
Just knowing that life, that longevity question is out there.
Yeah.
So if I'm able to retire at 59 and a half, I'd love to. But the big question is, I know you both kind of typically advise people to wait as long as they can on Social Security. But if I'm going to retire at 59 and a half, I'm considering maybe taking it early, 62.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're married, right?
Correct.
And does your wife or husband work?
She works. Yes.
How old is she?
She's 46.
Okay. And she work full time, or are you the main breadwinner, or is it equal?
I'm the breadwinner. She works part-time. She makes about $12,000 a year.
Okay. So how much do you earn, Tom?
About $380,000.
Well, that's a bit of a disparity, we would say. I mean, the one reason to think about waiting to take Social Security is that she would get a larger benefit the longer you wait. And since she is the most likely, I mean, obviously things can change, but chances are she's going to claim based on your record. So the higher the amount, the better it will be for her. And this is a real eye-opening thing to consider because, we had talked to a Social Security expert. Her name is Heather Schreiber. We did this when we were doing our last live webinar. And, she really emphasized how important the delaying of Social Security can be, especially when there is a disparity between the two people when it's either earning or age. So I just put that out there. But let's talk about what you've amassed, because you make a ton of money. So what do you have so far?
We've got about 1.1 million in retirement and about 150,000 in brokerage.
In the retirement, is that pre-tax retirement or is it Roth retirement?
It's about 800,000 or so in pre-tax and maybe 200 some odd thousand in Roth.
Okay. And what are you contributing to now, Roth or traditional?
I'm contributing Roth, maxing out, get the company match. And then I'm very fortunate to have I don't know what they call it, but a plan where I can put a bunch of after-tax money in, and then you immediately convert it. So I usually do that every January and max that out. That's about 32,000 or so.
I believe that's the mega backdoor Roth, which is a very fancy term. Okay, so 1.1 and lots of money going into this plan, 150,000 in brokerage. Is that right?
Yeah, and then we also put in about 75,000 a year into brokerage. So we just started that a couple of years ago.
Okay, great. That's awesome. And what about kids? You have them?
I have an 18-year-old daughter. We're about to take her off to her freshman year of college next week.
That's so awesome. How did you save for college, or are you paying for it out of cash flow?
529s.
Oh, great.
And she's covered. And unless she wants to, go to 10 more years of school after college.
Hope not for your sake or her sake. What about plain old money in the bank? Boring.
I think there's another kid.
Oh, there's another kid? Let's
Thanks,
go.
Mark. 16-year-old son.
Okay. And also has a 529?
He does. He's nearly fully funded.
Okay.
We put $750 a month in there.
Okay. So money in the bank.
About 75.
Okay. And what about your house? You own your home?
Yeah, it's paid for.
How much is it worth?
1.3-ish.
And you want to stay in this house?
We'd like to, but if I retire at 59 and a half, and we need to free up some equity to, live off of for a few years before we start tapping retirement or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the table. But I think ideally we'd like to keep it and just hold it forever and then give it to the kids and let them have a step up in basis and do whatever they want with it.
It's a long way from there. We got a 16-year-old. Well, we're not going to worry about that, are we? Really? I mean, it'd be nice,
No.
but right, we're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife is
Yes.
my
I'm
wife
sorry.
is sentimental about the house. I don't care.
Oh,
But
okay.
She probably will live there forever if it's up to her.
All right. So, Tom, you said you're kind of uptight about the future. So I presume this means your estate documents are done?
Yeah, they're being worked on, and they're supposed to be done. We're going to sign for them in October. So yeah, that's well on its way.
Okay. Almost done. I'll say almost done. And you also said you had some life insurance. What is the amount that you have for each of you?
On my life is about 3.8 million, and on my wife's life it's about 1.75 million or so.
Is this all term?
Yes.
Okay. What else is going on? Anything else that we need to know about? How much money do you spend?
We spend probably 6,500 a month, maybe.
6,500 a month? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And if you were to stop working at age 59 and a half, would that mean, so we have, 5.5 years until Medicare, what would the game plan be, just to go find insurance for yourselves?
That's a great question. I was thinking about that. So I'm just assuming the marketplace will be there, but if it's not, I am concerned about medical costs before 65 for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to figure right now, if you looked at how much you're paying for health insurance, through work, do you know what the number is about how much you pay for that?
Oh yeah, it's super cheap. It's a high deductible health plan. I think we spend like $500 a month maybe.
Because I'm thinking that you're probably, like, for those expenses of 6,500, I think, Mark, would you add at least 1,500 a month, maybe 2,000 a month for the two of them?
Yeah, if you want to be super conservative. I mean, I was, I'm just playing with these numbers. Based on how much money they are saving, and they're saving a ton of money. He's putting $75,000 a year just into his brokerage,
and then
he's maxing out.
Yeah,
and then he's doing the mega backdoor Roth.
Right.
I mean, this is completely. If nothing changes, like if these numbers stay the same, this is very doable.
So, how are you feeling, Tom? Mark says it's doable. You feel good about that?
I do. I feel good.
But you see how his voice goes up? He's like, I feel good, but I couldn't dare tell you that I'm trusting Mark and his numbers.
I mean, just in 11 years, on these numbers alone, in 11 years, they're going to have almost $5 million.
I guess the biggest risk to all of this would be that if your spending started to rise more dramatically, which it doesn't seem like it's going to, because, I mean, you're saving so much money, so it makes me think that you must really be spending this, 6,500 or $7,000. Even if we used $8,000 or $9,000 a month, if we did that, I think that the issue would be that when you turn 59 and a half or 60, you would probably start pulling some of the money out of your retirement account that's pre-tax, right? You'd use that to live on. And I think I would delay Social Security. Mark, do you agree with that? That, even with a shorter life expectancy, because Tom's wife would be relying on half of his record, isn't it important that he try to delay Social Security?
I would delay it as long as he possibly can. Trying to get as close to 67 as you can.
Or even 70, right? I mean, doesn't 70 actually help him as well?
Well, I think the spousal benefit will max out at what his... If I'm correct, we'll max out at what his full retirement age number is.
All right. So that means, so 67 would be for him. And so if you claim at 67, Tom, do you know what the amount of money is that you would be entitled to for that retirement benefit?
Yeah, it looks to be around 3,900.
Okay, that's pretty good. And no other pension for you guys, right?
I've got a small one from a previous career. It's going to be about $400 a month when
you're definitely golden.
Yeah.
You're definitely golden. So here's the thing. I think that given all the facts that you laid out, I'd be interested to see whether you let yourself retire at 59 and a half. That's a different thing. Because there is some possibility that you say, I made it to 59 and a half, I made it past this, 57 for my father, 58 for my grandfather, hopefully. And that you then say, actually, I like working and it's okay. Because 59 and a half is really young. And if you are healthy, we're presuming that you're going to have a nice long life. And I think that you'll be able to live and do your thing you want to do. It's all works in this. If these facts are kind of solid and the money that you're spending, your expenses grow with the inflation rate and not by tons more just because you guys are like having this great, awesome life and you want to expand it. I think it works. And I do think actually that your wife can keep the house. I mean, I don't think there's any suggestion here that, unless you would sell the house because you were forced to, because it's too much for, either of you. You know what I mean? Like, unless you were like, oh, I just can't deal. It's a big house. But if you love it, I don't know. I think it works. You did such a good job saving. There's no debt that's out there. I don't see any problems here, except, of course, the problem in your brain, which is it's freaking you out. So I get it. But, it all, like, the numbers look great. I know that having these things, this family history is spooking you, but it really, you can just go back to worrying about the worries instead of the money. The money's not the issue. The other stuff you'll deal with, but I think you're in very good financial shape. Right, Mark?
No doubt about it. Financially, no doubt about it.
All right. We can't speak for the other thing, although maybe we'll get a shrink on here at some point and we'll just, have the shrink weigh in. Like, yeah, you guys, you're great financially, psychologically, you're screwy, but it comes from a very honest place. So we get it. We wish you the very best of luck. Hey, are you worried about your game plan because of the specific facts of your life? Your upbringing might be spooking you. It may be the bad luck of family members, something that is getting in your way, and you want to help. You want to help yourself move on to like the good stuff. Give us a holler. Go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. Write us a note. If you would like to join us live, like Tom from New England, just check the box. Mark does everything else. Hey, you heard us reference our webinar. We actually had a wonderful webinar, our most recent one with Heather Schreiber, Social Security expert. That was only for folks who are part of Jill on Money Live. That is the service where for $35 for the next 12 months, you have access to quarterly live webinars, the back catalog, and also cool bonus video content. So check it out, Jill on Money Live. All right, Mark Talercio is the co-host, executive producer, and king of all things web. We are distributed by Paramount Global. We drop our episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. And of course, we like to remind you to lift someone up. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you on Thursday.
Paramount Podcasts.